Hello, I am Chet Sandberg, Jim Hill, and I delivered a paper at the IEEE PCIC in Dallas in September. This is the presentation with my dialogue text files converter by ChatGPT into an audio file that I pasted onto the slides. I didn't like my scratchy voice, so I asked ChatGPT to give me a good male voice. Here we go. Artificial intelligence is a wide field with many subcategories. We will focus on generative artificial intelligence, GAI, and natural language processing. For the presentation, we did use image generation. Look for it. All pictures were AI generated with ChatGPT. Also, for this YouTube version of the presentation, I used voice generation as is mentioned in the previous slide. GAI is here now. ChatGPT took only 5 days to reach 1 million users. In the early 1900s, electricity and telephones took multi-decades for adoption. Now everyone has the hardware and the internet. Here we go with GAI. This slide shows the uptake on new recent technologies. This slide shows the number of days for adoption. Again, AI is faster than others. This is because it has a free version and has said in the end that there is no downside in trying it. In fact, I have changed my default screen to ChatGPT. What we hope to accomplish in this presentation: help remove your fears. Nothing can really go wrong. But beware of hallucinations. More on this later. Convince you to try GAI. If you only have an hour, don't read the paper, just got to a chatbot and try it out. We also want to share some chats about the petrochemical industry. How can GAI improve our industry? It can leverage the current workforce. Too many hours are lost with paperwork and getting going on a project. Also, preserving legacy knowledge is critical with the retirement of workers that knew how to use a wrench. It's the next step in design and operation of petrochemical plants, especially with the use of digital twins. GAI shouldn't be looked at as a threat, but a tool to increase productivity of engineers. This is the classic DIKW pyramid. This slide breaks the segments of how GAI can focus on segments of the properties of the pyramid. If you have lots of data in the blue area, emails, reports, websites, etc., you can easily find them with specifics that make the search easier. Next, in the information section, you can sort the data. Which email said what? Next, in the green knowledge section, you can understand the information. Finally, you can get recommendations from the sections below. When we first started to write our paper, Jim Hill found this YouTube by Henrik Nyberg. It is highly recommended, and the 17 minutes to view is highly recommended. You can just Google Henrik Nyberg and the top link goes to YouTube. It's old, but the basics have not changed much. Good for newbies. How does it work? GAI takes public and private information and infers and creates new content based on the training. Large databases are used, but it is critical what databases are used. For example, you get different results if you train on Fox or MSNBC. The ratios of each will tilt the results. Think of AI as the next level intern trained in your field. Fast, curious, but not always reliable. Next step forward in design and operation for petrochemical plants. GAI won't replace experienced engineers, but engineers who use GAI effectively will outpace those who don't. A word about commercialism. IEEE PCIC has requirements that no paper can contain commercialization. AI company names are used in this presentation to clarify the information. None of the companies are PCIC vendors, and free versions of the chatbots are available for free. Clear information helps the learning process. I asked ChatGPT their thoughts about the downside of not using commercial names. Their answer: real-world engineering examples often depend on unique design features, ratings, or behaviors of specific products. Replacing a vendor's data sheet with a parallel constant watt heater can obscure what really matters, such as power density, cable geometry, or termination design. The terms are important. Large language model are different from chatbots. Examples of LLMs: GPT, OpenAI, Llama, Meta, Gemini, Google. Examples for chatbots: ChatGPT 4o, OpenAI, Copilot, Microsoft, Claude 4, Anthropic. The next important concept is the prompt and prompt engineering or prompt design. The goodness to the result is directly related to the prompt. You can ask the chatbot how the prompt could be better. Try it. Next concept is the transformer. What is it, or are they? This is not an artificial intelligence transformer. This is clearly not an artificial intelligence transformer. The complicated matrix on the right is the model of the brain of AI GPT called the transformer. Chatbot's input to the AI engine, it creates tokens that relate to the goodness of the match in solving the prompt. This is based on a paper authored by Google engineers in 2017 and is considered the breakthrough for solving how to make AI work. The paper is reference 3 in our PCIC paper. The speed of solving is dependent on the hardware, usually NVIDIA, measured in tokens generated per second. The large language model, LLM, is pre-trained using transformer architecture. The LLM is fed billions of examples and guesses the next word continually. The transformer groups data using a vector search, not word search. It understands the context of the language, not simply single words. This is where the DIKW pyramid is used. Fine-tuning takes a pre-trained LLM and embeds specific knowledge to focus on a specific task. What does GAI, Generative Artificial Intelligence, do well today? Summarizes project history or meeting notes, summarizes long specs, drafts procedures, checklists, and training docs answers. Where is that in the NEC? Creates first draft suggestions for improvements for reports, proposals, presentations, builds teaching aids, visuals, or code snippets. All these capabilities are available for free for the chatbots mentioned in this presentation. What are the limits, hallucinations, and engineering judgment needed for correct usage of GAI? GAI can be convincingly very wrong. Sometimes it just lies. GAI struggles with ambiguity, unit mismatches, or rare edge cases. Always ask the chatbot, where did you find that? If AI can't cite it, check it, ask for a link to the information. Always verify critical information. While the output is a good start, outputs need human review, especially for engineering applications. In our PCIC paper, we investigated 3 examples for the petrochemical industry. We commented on how well the chatbots worked. This was back in January 2025 when we were writing the paper. Since then, the AI systems have improved significantly. In late July, we ran the same examples with the exact same prompts. The first example involved a long-standing issue that has puzzled National Electrical Code Panel 17 through 3 consecutive code revisions. The problem concerned grounding around swimming pools. 3 grounding methods were under consideration: using an 8-gauge conductor looped around the pool, grounding the reinforcing steel, rebar, or installing a copper grid beneath the pool apron. Because the copper grid option was significantly more expensive than the others, we asked AI for guidance. In January, the AI struggled to balance safety against cost. By July, however, it prioritized safety while still acknowledging alternative methods. Ultimately, it recommended finding a balance between cost and long-term safety, specifically suggesting that lifecycle costs be considered and that the code provide guidance, not mandates, for best practices. The next example was heat tracing about valves, supports, and elbows. These features are known failure points. In January, it gave answers for different levels of engineers. It did mention IEEE 515, a standard for design and installation of heat tracing, but couldn't directly quote is because of copyright infringement. In July, it was much better and gave refined recommendations for engineers of different level and included state-of-the-art solutions. Our recommendation is to iterate on the prompts to highlight local conditions and classification of hazardous areas. This slide was completely created by AI with the prompt "Make a humorous cartoon about electrical heat tracing installation problems." We also asked for some jokes about heat tracing in the cartoon. They are suspect. It showed a bit of how the AI thought about jokes. The final example is creating a specification for a 2000 HP motor for a plant in Texas. The January try missed significant items. It got confused about the voltage between 460–6900 V and the speed between 400 to 1800 revolutions per minute. It missed the area classification. It turned out to be just a weak guide. Fair starting point, but not very helpful. In July, the spec was much better, tried both Copilot and ChatGPT. Output format is much better. The spec is good. It determined the answer correct between TEFC versus WPII and gave a real-world tip. GAI wrote spec, then ask if wanted a template, example, and/or check sheet. These are the ratings for the improvements of the different versions of the results for the different releases of Checked. The January 3.5 got a D and was classified as almost unusable. The grade was upgraded to a C when we put in a link to the IEEE paper by Donald Dunn, which gave the gold standard in motor specification. This is called a RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, where one can put in extra material along with the general known information the AI has already learned. This can be proprietary information and, as in this case, information not known by the AI in use. The August 4.0 version got a B when used with the Dunn RAG. The September version was more of a helpful guide and did not include the Dunn RAG because of time constraints. The improvements are significant as the versions improved. One of the most important aspects of the usefulness of AI is the information it has been trained on. There is disagreement currently on copyright material, including the IEEE Explore database. We think all of Explore should be available for use as a RAG. This goes for ANSI, NFPA, etc. As this slide shows, the IEEE can't share future plans for Explore use. I think it is not in their business model. It also precludes an author posting a paper for use in training LLMs. Our recommendation on how to make GA work for you is to use it as a supplement and not replace your work. Ask it to improve an email. I was amazed at how it worked wonders on my techie writing. In fact, the abstract for our paper was written by ChatGPT. We put the paper in and out came a better abstract. I also had it write a patent that was almost ready for submission to the patent office. As I said before, if you only have an hour, don't read the paper, just go to a chatbot and try it. Prompt and reprompt and see the improvement in the results. Prompt design is a skill that is easy to learn. Just make every prompt more specific than you think necessary. Newer versions may now ask you how they can improve the answer. This slide shows the prompt design in January 2025. Now it is easier and the AI chatbot will help you make it better. Just keep asking and follow the recommendations of the chatbot. This slide was made in July 2025 and the future is already here. Retrieval Augmented Generation, RAG, lets you feed your own specs, standards, procedures, and manuals easily into the chatbot. The vector searches make the use of real-time data and RAGs work for you. Many thought agents would be available in the last part of 2026, but they are available now. One of my favorite aspects of AI is the ability to make a digital twin of a plant, design, or process. You can run a plant with multiple twins in ANSYS or COMSOL and have it do a Monte Carlo simulation for many variables, maybe thousands. I did one of a buried LNG distribution line, and after 1,000 iterations, only 3 froze the soil possible, making a frost heave. Still probably too many, but it highlighted the 3 to help mitigate the parameters causing the weaknesses. Think digital twins. This is your challenge. AI is here and getting more powerful every hour. Either get on the train or be left behind. As it says at the bottom of the slide, we have evolved from the abacus goes to slide rule, goes to computers, goes to handheld calculator, goes to personal computer, goes to World Wide Web, goes to search engines, goes to machine learning, goes to GAI. Now is your chance to be on the leading edge of this technology.
Hey, it's Chet Sandberg. I'm back to prove I'm not an AI artifact. When Jim and I started to prepare the abstract for submission to the PCIC for presentation at the Dallas conference, we joked that 2 old EEs in retirement could be classified as Luddites. And I had ChatGPT make a cartoon about us. This is it. Luddites were the 1800s workers that wouldn't accept looms for making textiles, and they burned them. They are the classic example of those not accepting new technologies. The interest in the conference was highlighted by more attendees at our session than any other session. I worked on the cartoon 4 times to get the slide rule big enough, and ChatGPT did it. So our final recommendation to all is, don't be a Luddite.